Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about GoRouter. What is GoRouter? GoRouter is a Flutter package which are used for navigations. So why have to use that GoRouter? Because it's provide URL based API navigations, and it's also provide facility of deep linking and number of navigation related scenario means redirection supports and multiple sub routes also. So for that reasons we can use GoRouter. You can go through this documentation. It's official documentations of a Flutter package, so you can go through this. Okay, here also example present in these docs, so you can go through that examples. It's a very simple language. There is only main and a routes file, and for defining that main app where the router config router and two screens only which are used context.go, and it also use the context.go. Okay, so it's only two screens, and you can go through this. It's a very simple documentations. For installing GoRouter, you just run command flutter pub add GoRouter. Okay, or another method for installing is go underscore router with their versions name to add a spec.ml file. Okay, so we in this video we can go through that code. Okay, the basic demo code. Okay, so we open that VS Code. Okay, so here the main app, it's nothing, it's a simple clear main app main.dat file where I define the home as a app. Okay, the home which is a app visits app class. Okay, so on app class defined as app.dat file. On app class we define that stateless widget. Okay, extend as a stateless widget, then return as a material app.router. On that router I just one more line to add a router config. Okay, which define that it's used go router. So router is defined at the place of router.dat file. Okay, on this file we have just defined that final go router is a router. Okay, here we define two parameters. First one for initial locations, and second one for routes. Okay, on initial locations I define that page one is screen dot route path, and for routes I define that multiple routes, the go routes with their path and builder. Okay, path means there should be a path. If you go to documentation, it's provide that slash path and other things like that. It's provide the naming only, nothing else. It's a naming of that path. Means in these routes, it's not defined initial locations because it's already the initial location should be only slash. So for this code, there should be initial location is slash only. So if it's not defined that location, then also it's initially go to home screens. Okay, so on our codes we define that initial locations because I just not defined anywhere as a slash. Okay, if you go to page one screen, so on that I just define that const route path which is a page one. So on any other file I just not define that slash. Okay, so that's of reason I have to use that initial locations page screen dot route path. Okay, so here path can define in the page one screen class where I just make that uh, variable route path. Okay, same as in page 2 screen class also, where I define that route path, and same as in page 3. Okay, so what is different between these pages? If you go to the pages, in page 1, I just define that route path, nothing else. It's a simple page, and where there's a basic app bar and the two buttons for navigations. First elevated button for go to page 2, and second elevated button for go to page 3. Okay, and on page 2 what's the code? On page 2 there is a simple code which is app bar, and there is a text message for, yeah, it's open that page 2. So on page 3 what's the difference between page 2 and page 3? On page 3 it's defined that route path. Okay, but it's also required one more parameters which is a person's name. Okay, so if you call that screen, means if you want to open or navigate that page 3 screen, so you have to just pass that required fields. The required field is a person's name. Okay, so on body just see that on body we have just show that person's name on page 3. So how we can navigate, how can we define that routers in router.dat file? So on router.dat file I define that as person's name. Okay, if you go to that builders, there is page screen 3, and on that page screen 3 I define that person's name. What's person name? That should be state.extra. What's the state of extra data types? The state.extra data types should be string. Okay, it should be any data types, it should be any models name, any list of models. Okay, it depends on you what you want to pass from one page to another page. Okay, so on go route I just define that person's name state dot extra as a string. So how we can call that from page 1 to, means how we can navigate from page 1 to 3? If you go to that page 2, it's only use simple context dot push. Okay, nothing else. And if you go to page 3, it's use that context.push page screen.route path, but one more extra parameters which is extra. I just pass as good morning, but we can pass as name also, anyone names, like Ram. Okay, so I just pass that one name. So if you go to our app, it's already run that. If you click on that, go to page 2. If I click on that, it's so that, yeah, it's page 2. Okay, if I go to back, if I click on the go to page 3, it's so that, yeah, its name, person's name is Ram. Okay, so it's used by the context dot push. One more things, if you go to back means, I have to open more pages, like if you not, if you, what's the use of the back buttons? Back button use the context dot pop. Okay, means if you go to the, if I want to not use that context dot pop, something know about that, like for navigate the page 2, page 2 page 1. So what happened, if I go to page 2, and here I just add one more button, on pressed it's context dot pop, not go to page. Okay, go to page 1. So I have to import that packages, which is a Go router and page screens class. Okay, so I import those required things, and when if I click on that parts, if you go to, means if from one page, page 1, I just want to go to page 2. So there show that buttons, go to page 1. Okay, so if I click on that, go to page 1, it's push me on the page 1, and it's also show as a back buttons on that, because in stack there is just some pages on that stack. Okay, that's the reason it's so that back buttons for page 1. Initially, it's not showing any back buttons for their app. Okay, so if I go to page 2, and again I just page 1, so there is lots of pages on the stack. Okay, if you click on that back, it's open multiple pages, like page 1, then page 2, then page 1, then page 2, then page 1. Now there is no other pages on the stack. It's the other, that's the reason here the app bar not showing back buttons. Okay, you also use push replacement if you want to remove or replace one page to another page. Means I just want to replace page 1 with page 2. So what I have to just use, I just use that page replacement. So when I click on that page 2, the page 2 also not showing that app bar, because it's not, on the stack there should be no other pages. That's the reason it's not showing any back buttons on that app bar. Okay, so if you also want to use base replacement, or if you want to use go also, so what is the issue, what is the use of that context.go? So what is the use of that? If you use that context.go, okay, so difference between the context.go and context.push replacement. On context.go, it's initially empty all the stacks. If you use that context.go, it's empty all the stacks. If you click on that, I just go to page 1 and go to page 2. Yeah, just see that I just go to page 1, there should be a stack pages on that. That's why it shows that back buttons. But if I click on that, go to page 2, so it clear all the stacks, means there should be no other pages on that stack. That's why it's not showing app bar back buttons. Okay, so this is the use of context.go, context.push replacement. And you can also pass as a naming, means as a parameters also on the other page. So for that you just pass that extra, which is a ram. Okay, because it's required a string. Okay, so I think you have got these files, the page 1, page 2, and page 3, and there should be a string for defining the app name. So using the class, we can define the variable name, so we can use an anywhere, means you can go to that app.dat file, there should be titles, should be app string.app name, means I just define that string on string files. Okay, and router and separate file, which is a router.dat. So I think you have got that idea how you can use that go router. Okay, so thank you for watching.